Last episode, we filled out our industrial district a little bit further by adding a storage factory. This storage factory has enough storage in it to hold everything that we are thinking about automating in the industrial district so far, all while being fit inside of a beautiful Iron Reach Valley inspired building. However, at the end of the episode, I realized that in order to upgrade the storage drawers to have enough storage to hold each block that I want to automate efficiently, we are going to need a lot of emeralds. And that is what we are going to be working on today. But actually, it's not. Because you can see we are over in Iron Reach Valley in the workshop storage area, and you can see just behind me how many emeralds we have left. That is the last of our emerald supply, 1042. Once that is finished, we are done for emeralds. We have none left. We would have to go and trade with villagers, or mine some emeralds, or find another way for them to drop, which is actually what we are going to be working towards today. However, the reason I said that we're actually not working towards emeralds today is because the emeralds are part of what I'm considering a three-part process. Essentially, we are missing some key components before we can make an emerald farm. One of those key components being a place to build, well, the emerald farm. And a lot of you are going to be thinking that we are going to have to build a raid farm. Good thing we have a village just over there if we can get bad omen somehow. But actually, there is a way that you can farm emeralds another way. That way being a data pack which allows pillagers to drop emeralds. Now, with that being said, where are we going to find a pillager farm? Thankfully, just over here on the outskirts of our industrial district, we actually have a pillager outpost, which is exactly what I was thinking for where we can put our emerald farm. Our emerald farm can go right over here. So I've done a little bit of testing and it does get us a fair amount of emeralds. It's still not quite as good as a raid farm and we don't get any totems, but I'm willing to let that go in favor of some emeralds sometimes, and we can look at getting a raid farm set up a little bit later. However, there's another step before setting up the emerald farm that we're missing, and that is what we are going to surround the emerald farm with. What kind of building are we going to do? What kind of structure is going to be around it? And I know exactly what I want to build, and I don't want to tell you guys because I think it is going to look super cool, and I think you're going to get very excited about it. However, to build that, we are missing another very key component: blocks. We don't have any blocks to build it with. And I mean zero. None. Not a single one. Anywhere. And with that being the case, you must be thinking that we are going to build some sort of factory or farm in order to produce or farm or create those blocks. And that would not be the case. That is the plan. However, in order to build any factory and get it working and make sure that it's in a functional state to farm any sort of blocks, what is the one most important thing that any farm needs? I mean, this farm has loads of what I need, but I can't take it from this farm. I need this farm. And that is components. Create components. Crushing wheels, shafts, belts, encased chain drives, encased fans, anything that we need to farm or create or generate blocks. So the plan for the next few episodes is we are going to work towards getting our emerald farm, because we have a couple of steps to go through before that, i.e. getting the blocks we need to actually build the emerald farm, and then also getting the create components to create the emerald farm. I suppose you could look at the next few episodes as a little bit of a three-parter series, or mini-series, starting with getting a create component factory built up. So that is what we're going to be working on today. The first thing we need to figure out is which create components do we want to store. So I think what I want to automate in this factory is probably going to be the production of components, specifically movement components, and also basic components like cogwheels, shafts, belts, the hand, the fan, and casings, as well as a couple of actual components like an encased fan or a drill or an encased chain drive or anything like that. We are going to focus on creating those. So for the mechanical belt, we need a kelp farm. And for pretty much everything else, the main ingredient is going to be andesite. So we'll need an andesite farm, both of which we are going to look at doing right now. And the first way we are going to do that is we are going to have a look at where in our industrial district do we want our Create factory to be built. I was thinking somewhere on the metal factory side, so maybe in between these two buildings somewhere, possibly over there, but I don't want to leave like a courtyard in the middle. I feel like that's kind of weird, so we could just do it in the middle. And I think I like the idea of it being in this corner, so I think this is where we're going to build it. We're going to extend this stone platform all the way along to the end, and then we're going to pick how big the loading bay for this factory is going to be and have that loading bay take up this slot here, and the factory is going to line the corner. Whether it turns the corner or not, I'm not sure, but I think we're going to go in this back corner. So let me get the stone platform in place and we'll see how that goes. We'll see how we like it. We might get rid of it eventually, but I'm not 100% sure. Let's find out. And I think a platform just like this should be the right sort of size and shape for what we're looking to do. So it's a lot bigger than I think I was expecting to go, but I thought about it, and Create stuff takes a lot of different steps, and we have a lot of things that we want to craft. So what I'm going to do is I am going to get a cobblestone generator put in here. So obviously you guys saw me make the cobblestone generator for the tuff and gold farm, and I mean, you've seen me try and make my own cobblestone generator, and it works. It's good. I mean, it does the job. It's not massively efficient, and it takes up a lot of space, but it does the job. So instead, what I've done is I have developed a new cobblestone generator that we are going to add into this factory. So if we want all of this to sort of be loading bay, we need to think about where this is going to go. So this should probably go in the back corner. So if this block is going to be the loading bay, we want to keep probably a block from each side. So that would be about here would be the corner. So then we have one block clearance, and then the cobblestone generator would go here. So this block, let's pop something down so that we can keep track of where this block is going to be. So this is going to be the corner of the cobblestone generator. So that should be there. So if we pop that down, that's actually perfect. It's in the exact orientation that I was hoping for. So this is a much more efficient cobblestone generator. Well, I say much more efficient. It's much smaller, which is good, and it works. I'll describe how this works, and then we will get our material list, and then we'll check everything off and get the schematic cannon building this. So we have a contraption which will move some windmill sails up and down periodically, sort of every tick, every couple of ticks, and that will break the cobblestone which is generated by the pumps. So the pumps are pulling out lava from these containers. So we are going to fill these up with 1 bucket of lava each. We have a 3x3, a 2x2, and then 2 1x1s, which cover the whole area. So we're going to fill each of them with 1 bucket of lava. We have a backpack sitting on top of a smart chute, which is going to deposit all of its items into this vault. And this out the back here is simply to get rid of mossy cobblestone, because when cobblestone is in contact with water, sometimes it has a chance to become mossy with the immersive weathering mod. So we just have some lava in this little container down here, which gets rid of any mossy cobblestone. And that's actually it. The collection method is a backpack with an advanced pickup upgrade, and I don't actually think there's much more to talk about with this build. So I say we just get it all set up and get it building. Okay, this should hopefully all be ready now. So if I flick this switch, that should start going up and down like that. Exactly. And then all I need to do is come down here and turn this off, and we should start seeing cobblestone. Amazing. So the first thing we are going to look to make is andesite. So for that, we need cobblestone, diorite mixed together. And for diorite, we need cobblestone and quartz. Amazingly, we have quartz generating at a far too fast of a speed for us to keep up with in this factory over here. So I think we can probably just, for now, we can grab a drawer of quartz, probably the 450k, and we'll just take it over and run with that for a while. And then we can generate diorite, and with the extra cobblestone that we'll have, we can generate some andesite. So we'll just grab this. So if we take this over to the other factory, that gives us nearly 500,000 quartz to work from, and that's going to be more than enough to create diorite. So if I just put this right here, That's 500,000 quartz, almost 450,000 quartz. And this cobblestone will create plenty of diorite, and then diorite mixed with cobblestone will give us andesite. So what I'll do is I'll get that mechanism all hooked up so that we can start actually creating some diorite, and then we can get the mixer set up to create andesite. And I think the andesite is going to be quite small to actually create andesite, which is good. That is good, because the one thing I'm worried about is, again, not having enough floor space, but I think we will be okay because we have quite a lot of things that we need to build. So for the andesite farm, what I was thinking was we can use the mechanical arm setup that we have just in there to create the diorite. And that's probably going to be our best bet, is creating the diorite along here and then using the mixer method like we have in there. Essentially, we're just duplicating the second to last step of our tough farm, but over in this building here. And that is going to generate us loads of andesite. And once we have all the andesite ready, then we can take it and combine it with iron nuggets that we are going to pull from this factory over here. And that is going to give us our andesite alloy, which is going to be the basis of everything that we're starting from. That is going to give us shafts, cogwheels, components, anything that we need, we are going to be able to get from andesite alloy. So the first thing I want to do is get this set up so that it can start pulling everything in. And I think the best way to do that is we need to get the quartz hooked up to this factory over here so that it continually fills itself up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop underneath and I'm going to hook up the spruce trims from just underneath this depot here, and we're going to bring it over to here. Okay, perfect. And now that we have that all hooked up, if I pop this on here, we should start to see, yes, amazing, everything that is hooked into our metal farm. So now that we have this sorted and we have a spruce trim coming up into the factory, we can get this all ready. So our crafters are going to be here like that, and then we can turn this around so it all goes into there, and that is going to be our drawer controller slave, just like that. Now the only issue that I'm seeing is that unfortunately these cannot be hooked up to this, so that is a problem. And it's a problem that I only thought of a couple of minutes ago, because we don't want this diorite to be lost to this factory. So we will have to set up a whole separate storage for these. Thankfully, this can get covered up now. That's good. Okay, and I think this is probably the best solution to my problem, is I have made everything deposit upwards, and I'm going to have everything deposit onto the depots from behind. So all I need to do now is set up the funnels again and get the alternating pattern of cobblestone and quartz in place, and then we can finally call this ready to be installed. And with the addition of this block here, that should all start creating diorite for us over here. And we're actually getting it at a reasonable rate. It's not super fast, but it's not really slow either. So if we lock that and quantify it, we have 24. So that should just keep churning away until it runs out of either quartz or cobblestone. And thankfully, with both of our factories working overtime, it shouldn't run out of either anytime soon. We have 66,000 cobble to work from, and we're just generating so much more all the time. This is going to continually run whenever it's not full, whenever the vault isn't full, and the quartz will be collected from this farm as long as it's running, which it does all the time. So with the method of getting diorite all done, now we just need to take this diorite and turn it into andesite. So the way we can do that is by mixing it with some more cobblestone. So I think we can probably do that just out the back here. Oh, we're mixing and we're getting andesite. Yes. Yes. Oh, that's amazing. So we will only get about 2,048, but that is fine. Wow, we create andesite so much quicker than we're creating diorite. It's actually insane. So it's been a couple of real life days that I've spent just sort of getting my head down at work, decompressing and taking a break from Minecraft. It was feeling a little bit, not overwhelming, I think overwhelming's a bad word, but I was getting a little bit burnt out after the last clip, and I could feel that my content was dropping. I could feel that my attitude towards the world was sort of not where it was a few months ago or even a few weeks ago. So I decided to take a few real life days to decompress, get my head down at work, focus on some other creative projects, still playing Minecraft, granted, but playing some vanilla for a change. I haven't played vanilla in so long, and it was really nice to get away from all the mods and all the different blocks and the complexities and everything. But we are back on the Create world to get ourselves finished with the Create component factory. So we finished up the andesite generator over here. You saw that in the last clip. We are creating diorite relatively slow compared to how quickly we're creating andesite. I mean, if you have a look at the andesite, we actually have filled up on andesite, which isn't ideal. But that does give us a chance to fully stock up our diorite all the way to the top. So do we have any upgrades on the diorite drawer? Yes, we do. Let's take one of them and put it on the andesite so we can fill them both up evenly. That'll start to burn through a little bit more of the diorite as well. But you can see that we're steadily creating a little bit more andesite as well. And we obviously have our cobblestone generator, which is connected to everything over here. And our cobblestone generator still seems to be going pretty strong. No issues with it. It's still running and everything. And we still have tons of quartz to get through. I don't think there will ever be a point where we will run out of quartz. However, now that that is completed, the next step in our quest to getting the Create component factory done is actually getting andesite alloy generated. So andesite alloy is created from mixing andesite with iron nuggets. You can use zinc nuggets as well, but I think iron nuggets are going to work better because we generate iron the fastest out of our farm. So I think what the plan is that we are going to take the andesite that is generated from here out of this drawer controller slave. We are going to run a line of spruce trim over into the next contraption, and then we need to connect this up so we can pull out some iron nuggets. And it's essentially going to be the exact same contraption as this. It's just a few mixers, some item drains, and a drawer controller slave for it all to go into. And we're going to store the andesite alloy as part of this storage mechanism. So it's not going to go into the shared storage. It's going to go into its own storage as part of this farm, which should be absolutely fine. So let's get that quickly built up. You guys have seen me build enough of these. I think I've built 4 or 5 in this world. So I don't think you guys need to see that again. So let's get that built up and we can have a chat about the next steps once that is done. Okay, this should now be up and running. All I need to do is flip these all around so that we're now depositing andesite, and then we can flip that around so it starts spitting out some iron nuggets, and there we go. We have andesite alloy. And then all we need to do is get a drawer over here. Let's go there for now, and then we can watch it fill up with andesite alloy. Oh, I love Create. It's so good. Quantify that, lock that, there we go. So now we have andesite alloy being generated for us by our factory, and that covers such a tiny area, but that's fine because the rest of the factory is all to do with crafting. So we're going to have a lot of mechanical crafters, and yeah, we're going to be using a lot of power for this factory, I think. Which, as it turns out, is not going to be that much of a problem anyway, because we still have almost 1.5 million power remaining. So we're actually doing okay for power, and I know, I still need to fill out this building. I know, I will do it. It will get done. I will show you guys when it's done, but it's not going to be today. But either way, we have plenty of power to get this contraption going, and I'm super excited about it. I think this is going to be really good. But yeah, we have plenty of power to get this all sorted, and we already have over 1,000 andesite alloy, so we are more than good to go for this, and I'm actually super excited by that. I think it's going to be a really good factory after this. So our next action is getting things crafted. So the first things that I want to craft are shafts, which are very easy. They're just a 1 by 2. So we just need 2 of those stacked up together, and we need 2 andesite alloy. So what I'm going to do is grab some mechanical crafters, and we are going to set these up. So we definitely need some more spruce trims, and we definitely need another drawer controller slave, another depot, another mechanical arm, some funnels, and just some casing to place it all on. So where do we want to set this up? I think where might be the best idea is probably maybe right here we can set it up, and then we could actually have it coming out just here. We can pop a drawer controller slave right here. And I think if we just move everything slightly over, we should actually be able to make it a bit more compact, as well as making more than enough andesite shafts. Yeah, we're already at 500. We don't need more than one crafter. This is plenty. So I think the next thing we can work on is getting the different types of cogwheels. So for the cogwheels, to make a small one, you need one shaft and one wood plank. And for the large one, you need one shaft and 2 wooden planks. So I think we can work on that by bringing over some wood from Ironreach Valley. And now that we have the wood integrated into our storage system, I think the best thing we can do is just map out all of the crafters. So you can see that I've got them all in my inventory here. I've also got a little sort of cheat sheet outlining the shape that each crafter needs to be to craft all the different things like cogwheels, gearboxes, electronic tubes, the hands, whisks, fans, everything that we would need. So I'm just going to get to work on actually laying them all out. I think I want to try and fill this space as much as possible. So we're going to start with the slightly smaller items, and then we'll move on to the bigger items. I think the crushing wheel is probably going to go over here, which we might actually start with. So I think I want the crushing wheel to go maybe here. Yeah, I think here's probably a good bet. So we've got 3 and then 3 layers of 5, I think. Yep, and then 3 on the top. There we go. So that sorts out the crushing wheel. So let's map out all of the other crafters that we need. I've done a little calculation, and we are going to need 148 crafters for this. So let's see how much of the factory that actually fills. And with that done, we have filled out quite a lot of the factory. So we actually have everything in here that we would need to craft. We have cogwheels, whisks, hands, plows, harvesters, mechanical arms. We have precision mechanisms, display links, display boards, pipes, item drains, everything that we could imagine needing is all created in here. So all we need to do is hook these up to the storage system, get a mechanical arm behind each one, some depots, some storage, and then get them all powered. So now that all the depots and everything are in place, the mechanical arms aren't quite there just yet. They're one of the next steps, but we do have all of the depots in place and almost all of the drawer controller slaves hooked up correctly to the right storage. I've already set up the overall storage for everything that we're going to be crafting. So we'll have to link that in as well. I think we're going to hook up a drawer controller to that wall and maybe have 4 miscellaneous sort of drawers above it. But the next thing I want to work on is there are 2 mechanisms that I don't have at the moment, which fall into this category of sort of creating something, I suppose you would call it. But either way, it falls into this category of it needs belts and stuff. So what I am talking about is I'm talking about creating the different types of casing and the different types of sheet. So it's actually a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be, which I'm really happy about. We just need to get the redstone links on there. I don't think... Oh, I do. I didn't think I had any on me, but I actually do. So let's pop these on here like that, and then we'll set them all to receive. So we'll have the control wall maybe this big. There we go. And then we can put our redstone links on here. So we'll do those 3 there. And then we can put levers underneath, and they'll be for those 3 things. And then we'll do the metal sheet controller there. And then we can just have a bunch of other machines. We'll put some clutches on these so that we know when they are and aren't going to run, just to save a little lag. So we can turn the factory on and off. And now we have everything in place, all of the filters on. There's a couple of items missing filters, but the last piece that we need to add is 1 cogwheel over here to power up the whole system. All of the mechanical arms are already powered. We just need to power this and get a casing on it, and then all of our mechanical crafters should be powered as well. So I'm going to get a building put around this. I will see you guys when that's done. So some really good progress has been made on building a factory for our Create components. I think it looks really good. I'm so annoyed though, because this is the second time this episode that I've wanted to include a replay mod time lapse. It's a fresh mod that I've installed to the mod pack, and I've really wanted to use it twice this episode, and both times it hasn't worked. The replay mod for some reason just doesn't want to cooperate with this mod pack. I don't know if it has something to do with the fact that the mod pack's in a forge and replay mod is a fabric mod, so I have to use the Sinatra connector. But yeah, so I'm really sorry guys. There was supposed to be a little time lapse here of me building this factory, but unfortunately it wasn't something that I was able to get done. Replay mod just doesn't want to cooperate with me. Instead, you guys just get to see the pretty much finished product. I mean, it's not quite finished. There's still a handful of things left to do, but if we fly over here, I'll give you guys a little look at the factory, and I think it looks really good. I like it a lot. There's a couple of little lean-tos, and we have the red brick as well, separated into 2 sections. We currently don't have a door for the factory, which isn't ideal. So for now, if I just punch a hole in this wall here, we can go in and have a look at how it all pieces together. But this is what the factory looks like from the inside now, and I really, really like it. So there's a little bit of texturing that still needs to be done, some windows, some decorations on the floor, some additional stuff, just kicking about the floor plan to make it look a little bit more used. And then of course we have to sort out the outside so that we can get deliveries taken from and coming to the factory. And then there's some windows and a couple of other bits and bobs that need to be done around the factory. But I'm really happy with the way that it's turned out. I think it looks really good. I like it a lot, and I think it fits in really well, despite being a drastically different color to the metal factory, because the metal factory uses all granite blocks, while this factory uses all brick blocks. I actually think it does fit in really well, and I think after some texturing, it's going to work really nicely. Either way, I'm really happy with how this has turned out. I hope you guys really like this one as well. I'm going to get the texturing finished off. Once it is done, I will show you guys. We can have a walkthrough and we can see how everything came together. And now that most of the texturing and decorating is done, I will give you guys a little tour of the factory. So we have our metal sheets and our casing contraption over here with a little warning sign to tell you, be careful, there's moving machinery over here. And then we have the same thing over at our precision mechanism machine, which gives you a little warning, along with a couple of no entry signs into the more mechanical areas of the build. Of course, if you do have the clearance, you are able to enter those areas freely, but you do have to have the correct clearance. Of course, I have the correct clearance, but a standard employee would not. Over here, we have a dumping ground of sort of broken or unusable components, a couple of girder shafts which go to prop up the roof of the building. They are spare. We have some pipes and a big block of zinc that was delivered to us for manufacture. We have a couple of broken water wheels. These are all the parts of the factory that no longer get used or are broken. I will walk you around to the outside for another block of zinc that has been delivered for manufacture, along with our little garage area around the side. And if we hop into free cam and we take a quick look at the front of the building, you guys can see this really cool moving cogwheel design that I managed to find. The actual design of the cogwheel, I copied an image that I saw. I don't exactly know where the image came from, but it's not an original design. And these water wheels I just thought looked really cool. They look like cogwheels from a distance, especially because cogwheels are a lot smaller than that. And then we have a big Creat sign on the top so that everybody knows exactly what this factory is for. The factory's been around for a while, so it is a little bit cracked and dinged up. And we have the metal sheathing portions of the building which have been patched up. Some more recent than others. We have the recent patches, some slightly older patches, and some very old patches. And I think it looks really cool having been patched up. There's been a lot of holes, a lot of weathering, a lot of weather marks in this building, and it sort of shows its age really well. We have a couple of window slots up at the top, which I've yet to put any glass panes in, but once I do, I think it will look really cool. Along with on the side here, obviously we need a little bit of natural light coming into the factory itself. Up on the roof here, we have some vents just to get rid of the excess heat that's going on due to the manufacturing process, as well as a little platform up here, which you see on some factory rooftops from time to time. And then up on the higher level of the roof, we have more vent fans up here to get rid of the main bulk of the heat coming from the manufacturing down below, as well as the power generator over here. Now, obviously, we know that power comes in from the bottom of the factory, but I thought this was a really cool addition, along with a couple of radio towers, just for general communication and different things like that, and just for getting signal to all of our controls and everything, making sure that we're up to date, communicating with servers and stuff. We have those communication towers going on there. And just over here we have the entrance. I wasn't quite sure where to put the entrance. I had thought making it a little bit bigger and putting it along this whole wall, but then I thought there's a lot of factories around my local area which look like it doesn't have an entrance at all until you drive around the corner and you see this one little door up a tiny staircase, and that's the main entrance to the building. So I thought that was actually a really cool idea. And we have the garage here to make it look like there's sort of bigger entrances as well. And then if we head on inside, I've shown you guys the dumping ground and everything, and the more mechanical side of things with all the warning signs and everything. But we also have this little tinker station, a sort of workshop that we can use to fix different components. For example, right now we are trying to fix an encased fan, which is broken. So that is something that we manufacture at the factory. This is one of the duds that has unfortunately not passed our very rigorous quality engineering tests to make sure that they work perfectly every time. And yeah, unfortunately this cogwheel is the same. These are both going to end up at the dumping ground at some point. I just haven't quite moved them from the tinker station yet. But I'm really excited about how this build has turned out. I think it is really, really cool. I like it a lot. And all I need to do is move these drawers over to the main storage wall. But I'm really happy with the way that this factory has turned out. I think it's really cool. And just before I finish up this episode, I just want to say I really hope you guys did enjoy it. And I apologize for the slightly delayed upload for this and the last episode. Like I said earlier on, the whole Create world became a little bit sort of, I got a little bit burnt out of it. So I took a little break for myself just to get my swing back. And I hope you guys can agree, compared to the last few builds, we definitely have a little bit of our mojo back. I'm so happy with this build. I think it looks so cool. And a lot of my motivation for this series has returned. I have also been playing some vanilla Minecraft, which really gives me an appreciation for the stuff you can do and create. So yeah, I really like this series. I really hope you guys are enjoying it so far. And also, like I mentioned, this is only part 1 of a sort of 3 to 4 part farm plan. So this farm will link into the other farms. I will need a lot of what this farm produces to do one of the other farms. And the very last farm is going to be the most exciting, because it is going to allow us to upgrade our storage facility infinitely. And I think it's just going to be so cool. So we have a few more factories to place in the industrial district before we start getting any moving vans or making the place feel a little bit more alive and adding some more external decoration to buildings. But I hope you guys can agree that the industrial district is really coming along quite nicely. Anyway, I will leave you guys with that. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I will see you guys in the next one. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for the support on the last few videos. It means so much to read your amazing comments and to see all the interactions with the video. If you do want to leave a comment or like or anything like that, it means the world. So I really appreciate you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out. I need to find a way to make the next farm look this good. That's a bigger challenge than the next farm's even going to be.